Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. I am Megan, joined by my fantastic co-host, Melissa.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
You know, it was a hard decision, but I'm here. I'm ready to give some advice, and I am hoping that you and I can forge a bond.
Like Olive Garden says, when you're here,
you're
family.
The food that I ordered during our break, it's not Olive Garden.
Oh God, I was like,
but
I'm
it's
sorry.
similar.
Buca de Beppo? What'd you order?
Every time I think of Buca de Beppo, you don't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or any of the housewives, but Dorit, her big project last season is she's like, I'm a designer now, and like she knows the person that owns Buca de Beppo, and she like designs the back room at this place, and she like treats it like it's a big deal, and it looks so tacky and it's so bad. And that was like her whole storyline for the whole season, and it's like, this is boring as shit.
I will say though, I fucking stand a Buca de Beppo moment.
I've never been to one. I actually never heard of it until
First of all, the name Buca de Beppo. That is the funniest. It's so fun to say. It's so funny. But that was like, once we got older, like that was like where like, you know, rich kids would go for like birthday dinners. So it'd be like maybe you'd go to the Melting Pot, and then it was like no. And then you would go to like Ruth's Chris, like the fancy steakhouse.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with the Ruth's Chris. We have those in Arkansas as well.
And Buca de Beppo. And I was like, fuck, I love having rich friends. Like, this is a good fucking time. I love it.
Yeah, they're not like a chain in Arkansas.
I don't think there's that many of them in general. There's one like close by here, but like,
yeah, I mean, that's the one that Dorit redid.
Oh, that's funny. I don't think they're like considered like I think they're, I don't know. I don't think they're considered like the best Italian like Michelin star.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is she was treating it like that, and then everyone was like, man.
I think it's just expensive. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess I should give a rundown about what this podcast is. If you're
a
brand new.
Buca de Beppo fan podcast.
Imagine. We go over just like different PF Chang's.
Every episode we review one item from the menu.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if we did a Cheesecake Factory one? That podcast would run for years.
Ma'am, that's what's coming to my door.
What'd you order? Chicken Madeira.
I did. And then they have some like honey something or whatever, some other chicken that's like honey. It's new. It said it was a new item. So
nice.
So yes, one thing, Postmates did not have Cheesecake Factory on it, but DoorDash does.
Good.
And I know that it's going to last me for a few meals. So That's when I told you I wasn't prepared for the week. I have been eating Cheesecake Factory all week. But the burrito at this point, like, I've been eating it for like 5 days, and it's a breakfast burrito, and there's still like maybe 2 portions left, and I'm not going to finish it because it's like old now.
And you're probably sick of it too.
No, it's delicious. I could keep eating it, but like, you know, you're not supposed to eat like cooked food after 5 days.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so I could keep eating it. It's delicious, but there's so like I've put it in because it came in a tray. If you're looking at me, or watching, but I would say about a foot long is how long this breakfast burrito was. And then every day I just cut a little piece off and then put it into another container because it was getting smaller. But there's still like a full, like regular size container that's sitting in my refrigerator right now. And I was like, should I risk it? No, I shouldn't.
Maybe this is your new TikTok content, because like between this and like you figuring out that you can order like catering family platters of tender greens, like you've really solved like, hey, do you live alone? Do you not want to cook, but do you want to eat some good food? Let me teach you my ways.
Yes. Well,
that's impressive.
But now I'm going back to my meal delivery service. So that's the end of that.
Maybe it's an indicator that normalcy is coming.
It is. It is.
Pre-pandemic.
And I would like to fit into some of my jeans again.
I would like to grow an ass. That's what I need to do.
Well, I gave you. I will be doing that workout plan. So mine's going to be sitting on my back.
That's how I like to spend my quarantine, on the back.
Well, was because no one was on top of me. So.
Hey, you could have gotten fucked by a ghost.
I wish.
I guess you weren't trying hard enough.
You know that I would love that. I would love nothing more
this
than that.
This is where we differ.
I would love
so
to be
much.
fucked by a ghost, an alien, anything.
I'd
that's
rather
out
have
of
sex with an alien than a ghost.
Anything that's out of the ordinary, I want it to happen.
Well, everyone, what a segue. Let me explain what this podcast is. We are Don't Blame Me. We're an advice podcast. You call in, you leave us voicemails, and you tell us what's going on in your life that you need some help and advice with. And then we deliver our patented, copyrighted, trademarked, amazing advice. So if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. What are our requirements? What do we tell people to do?
Our requirements are to make sure it's 3 minutes or less. And the way that you do that is that you write it down. You practice it. Make sure, maybe start with some bullet points to make sure that you have everyone's ages in there, their pronouns. If it's a relationship, how long you've been in the relationship. All the pertinent information that's going to help us give you the most vital and useful advice possible. Also, if you're in a car, please be parked, have the windows up, and not driving. Well, I guess if you're parked, you're not driving, but those are requirements.
Could ghost ride the whip.
The
car's not parked then. Then it's not just...
Yeah, it's a neutral.
Yeah. I love us breaking down the semantics of ghost.
Another podcast.
I die. Should we start the... No, I'm not going to say should. We're going to start this episode with an update call with somebody giving us exactly that. An update.
Am
I tired or like hungry?
I think we're a little bit of both. My food now has been officially delivered. I just got a picture of it sitting on my doorstep. But this is from season 7, episode 6.
Okay, so I was the caller about my friend going to college with me and like wanting to go to the same school as me. So I was basically calling because she told me that she only really wanted to go so we could like do things together and like wanted a room together and all that stuff. So what ended up happening was, so I called in, I think around like December, and you have to decide by May 1st. So I kind of waited a bit to talk to her just because I'm like, it's not like I'm scared of confrontation. I just love to like put things off, I guess. So basically on the phone, like before I called, she told me that she got into this school, she like straight up said like, I will go if you go. Like, I thought I was like making things up, but then I remembered that she actually said that. And then she ended up actually visiting the school and like texted me. She was like, oh my God, I love it so much. Like, I'm definitely going to go here, all of that. So which like made me feel a lot better because that meant like she actually liked the school. So I still didn't necessarily really want to like room with her. So what I did was, maybe this is bad, but I joined like the Facebook group and like kind of was talking to some people and like people were asking about rooming together. So the next time she brought it up, I was like, oh, like I was actually talking to some people in the group and like someone asked to room with me. And like the more that I thought about it, I realized that like for our friendship, I don't know if it would be best. I said, Megan, I think you said to say like to preserve our friendship. Mm-hmm. And she took it actually like pretty well and was like, yeah, like totally, that makes sense. And this was like also like pretty soon to committing. And she told me like, yeah, I'm still like 99% sure going there. And so then I guess a few weeks later, I texted her. I was like, oh, have you committed yet? I think I had already committed. Never get a response. So then on May 1st, the day you have to, I check Instagram to see she committed to a completely different school. And the funny part is, the school she committed to is a school our other friend is going to, and now they're rooming together.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, so she really was wanting to be your roommate. And then when you told her no, she was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to go there.
I mean, maybe, and we haven't spoken about it since. Like, maybe there was other stuff involved, but it is just weird, like the series of events.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like that sounds like something I would have done as like someone who like didn't want to go to college. Like that to me, I would have done that because I wouldn't have wanted to go to college. I would have been like, well, we just like hang out with my friend the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or she's just really scared of college.
Yeah. No, valid.
Yeah, no, that's totally. And maybe there was other stuff involved. But
she's not the one that called, you are. So I'm very happy for you.
Yeah.
You completely like got the experience that you wanted for college, or you're going to get that experience. So that's awesome.
I would have done the exact same thing though. Like I would have joined the Facebook group, started talking to people, and I think that's
a good plan. Good plan.
Because she never even asked, like, hey, if we both go, we should room together. She just started assuming. And like, she's like, this is how we're going to decorate our dorm. And I felt so awkward because I didn't want to like shut it down, but I didn't necessarily want that either.
And also, like, I don't know, maybe if it's different than the small amount of time that I went to college, but like you could request people, but you didn't always like 100% like, do you like, if you request someone to be your roommate, does it 100% happen?
I'm not sure. I think because right now I did end up finding a roommate in the Facebook group and we requested each other, but I don't know my like housing situation yet. So I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, mine might have been too late. To be fair, though, really glad mine turned out the way it did. Really glad who I requested. I did not live with them. But wow. So your other friend, do you think your other friend is like, do you think your other friend who like, do you think she's like you in this moment? Or do you think that like they're both on like the same energy level? Like we want to live together?
I think because like they also were like very like, see, I'm going to college, but there's some people like, especially if you're like in like the US, people like go crazy with like posting with like all of their like college stuff and balloons. And it was like one of those posts with like all these balloons and like them taking pictures together. So I think they are on the same level, but
wow.
Yeah, I'm glad I was in college before. Like Facebook came out the year I was my freshman year. So like you couldn't even post pictures at that point. So I'm glad that I was in college before people did all that.
We had all these like groups and stuff that would be like Facebook groups and then just like text message chains and like all of that stuff of like, oh, and even like fucking like Instagram accounts where it was like, oh, like where everyone senior from our high school is like going to college and all of that. And everyone's posting and it's literally everyone. Cause like I went to like a very like, I mean, a public school, but like a very good school in a very affluent community. So everyone's like Stanford, Cornell. And I'm over there. I literally responded and said, UC reject. And one other person goes, yeah, me too. And I was like, sick.
Yeah, we have those at my school too. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're just seeing everybody with like Ivy League. And I'm like, I don't even want to go to college. Like, this is so awkward. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that it seems like this worked out super.
Yeah. I like your plan that you had. You had a plan.
Yeah. That was a perfect plan. I would have done the exact same thing. And she got what she wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a friend to live with.
Can you please update us in a year and let us know if they're still friends?
Yes, I totally will.
Who are you closer to? Are you like super close with both of them, or
no? I feel like they're also like they're not like my closest friends. Like since the pandemic, we've definitely like drifted apart much, and I'm more closer to the one that wanted to room with me. But I still talk to her enough to where I can ask in like a year, like I was thinking, how are things going?
Oh, I'm so excited to hear about that. You have to give us an update.
Of course.
And cool. Well, congratulations. So
Thank
happy
you.
for you that this is working out in your favor. And yeah, give us an update. And then let us know how their friendship goes. And then also let us know how you like college.
Yeah. Of course. Thank you.
Of course. Right. Congratulations. Thanks for calling back.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
We are back from the update. What a good update.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy with how that worked out. I don't think I thought it would.
I didn't think it would either. I like the way that she went about it. And I just want to reiterate, as I feel like it's becoming my mantra for every episode at this point, do not room with your friends. This gal didn't. She lucked out. I guarantee those other two girls will not be friends next year.
No, they're screwed. Screwed. As he's not that into you, as they say. One of my favorite things that I've taken from that movie, but it applies everywhere. You are the exception, not the rule. Or you are the rule, not the exception.
Never seen that, but yeah. Agree.
I mean, to be fair, that's how a lot of that misinformation and shit goes down. Yeah. Well, happy to hear that she's going to be going to college, living her best life without this friend.
Oh, also, welcome to season 8.
Oh, yes. All this has been a joke. The reason why I've been acting so weird is because we didn't know if you would know. An inside joke. It's the beginning of season 8. Wow. What a hiatus. It's been literally no time. You didn't even know.
We announced it the last episode.
So now I will hopefully forever remember that it's season 8 because I never have any fucking idea what season we're on. Ever. Ever. Well, shall we get into the rest of this episode?
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm following notes, so I'm sorry if this gets messy. I'm 22, a Gemini sun and a Capricorn man, and my pronouns are she, her. My friend, we'll call her Kate, is 23, a Scorpio, and also uses she, her pronouns. I've been best friends with Kate since about 3rd grade. Growing up, she had a lot of trauma happen to her, and I think it caused me to always focus on her and ignore my own problems. I'm not trying to fault or shame her at all. I feel awful for everything that's happened to her, but I think it caused me to neglect myself, and it's something I've always done until the past year or so. I never set boundaries, and I was essentially the escape route for her, and I let myself be. About 3 years ago, there was a collective traumatic event in my community that I don't want to dive into for anonymity, but a few months before the event, she started dating this guy who at the time was 30 with a 7-year-old son, and she was 21. Because of the event, he and his son had to move in with her and family, which included her mom, stepmom, and 3 siblings. From the moment I met this guy, I didn't like him. One of her first details of him was that he trolls old people on Facebook as if that was a good thing. He quickly became very emotionally manipulative and abusive. He would neglect her but get mad if she spent time with anyone else. It was very obvious that he and I didn't like each other, and he eventually singled her away from everyone, including me. I moved away from my hometown about 3 hours away in August of 2019. In June of 2020, she called me crying, asking for help to leave him. She asked to stay with me, and even though it broke my COVID boundaries, I did it. I picked her up, and she stayed with me and my boyfriend for a week to detox the relationship because she knew she would go back to him if she was still in the area. She went back home to live with her mom, and she ended up getting back together with him a few months later. She's never directly told me. I found out through my mom telling me about it and seeing it on Facebook. In August of 2020, things started going south with my friend. My grandma got sick. My friend knew about it, and she would check in on me, and at one point asked me how I was doing. I told her I was numb. She left me on red. A few months later, she randomly deleted me on Facebook. I have social anxiety, so it's kind of my worst nightmare to see my best friend of 13 years all of a sudden not be my friend on there. I confronted her about it. She deflected, talking about how she deleted all these other people, and she was sad about seeing my face but not seeing me in real life, and that she wanted to vent without starting shit. I ignored her. I just hit a point where I couldn't have the energy to care about her drama anymore. I've been in therapy since September of 2020, and I'm doing better. I'm trying to evaluate if I miss her or just miss the friendship that once was. We're slowly talking more. We've texted a couple times. She's apologized for deleting me, but we have other issues. She wants to get coffee once we're both fully vaccinated so we can talk shit out. I'm willing to do this, but I'm not sure if I can have her in my life again if she's still with the asshole, which she is. He just gets under my skin, and I'm afraid of history repeating itself. I don't want to lose myself into her shit again. I'm getting better with boundaries, but it still feels raw. I know her and I have our separate issues outside of her relationship, but I do want to hear her out and see if we can evolve our childhood friendship into an adult one. But I don't know if I can with this guy in the picture. I'm still evaluating if this friendship is worth salvaging, but is it shitty of me to not want to if he's around? Let me know what you guys think.
This is a very shitty situation, but I just want, for everyone that's listening, this is how you do a call. You write everything down. You give us all the information. She's clearly been practiced, rehearsed it. So I appreciate you for, you get a gold star.
I don't think if you are frequent listeners, you know how major that is. Mm-hmm. Very, very rarely do you get a gold star. And even more rare than that, does Melissa right off the bat say, hey, you did good. Usually I'm like, hey, that was a call that you enjoyed. No, you got a compliment this is like the principal giving you. Like, this is the dean of your admissions grading your paper giving you an A. But yeah, great amount of details. This is hard because not only is there like a lot of ties because it's like a childhood friend, but I think that, and something you didn't touch on the call, which I think probably is part of the reason why you're also having a hard time, is simultaneously his involvement in her life is probably the reason why you don't want to maintain the friendship, but also why you feel an obligation to, is because he's like a really emotionally abusive person. And that's like really scary to walk out and like end a friendship with somebody when they're in that, because it can feel like a sense of responsibility that like, oh, I want to be there for them. I want to be able to help them through all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you also have to prioritize your mental health too. This guy's like creepy as fuck in general. What I would do in this situation is I would basically just kind of prolong our inevitable friendship breakup, because I think it probably is inevitable unless like it does turn out that all of this was really him. I would probably get coffee and be like, I definitely still like want to be able to like talk and stuff. And like, I'm just like really working on like clear boundaries is something that I've really developed like over like the pandemic and all of that kind of stuff. And, full transparency, your boyfriend and I like don't get along, and I want you to be happy and like healthy and safe. And so I'm here to support you in whatever that aspect of it is. And I'm just going to say this, and I don't mean this to be like fatalistic or anything, but if anything does happen with your relationship, like I'm never going to be, and I told you so, I'm never going to be like snarky about it. Like you can always come to me, but just as a heads up, I'm not asking you to choose between me and him. It's just like, him and I really don't get along. Happy to have a really separate relationship with you and friendship with you, but I need to be transparent with you that him and I don't get along, and I'm okay coexisting with that. But that's something that like
not though. She says she doesn't want. As he's in the picture, she doesn't want to be.
But not hanging out with him. Is this a kind of situation where it's like a toxic, manipulative, abusive relationship that you feel like you need to maintain some semblance of closeness to her to be able to be there because he cut out everyone else in her life? Or is it this person is really toxic and is also in a really toxic relationship, but this person is really toxic to me, and being on the sidelines there's no way I can do that. Because you know what I mean? There's like a level of like, is it a kind of thing that you can tolerate to be there on the sidelines? But then if you can't, then all you're doing then is adding more stress into that person's life.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is such a hard situation because you said you want to like preserve the friendship because you've had it so long, but you can't do it if he's still in her life. And so yeah, it's like do I isolate her? But it doesn't seem that she's being isolated. Like I don't think she is. It doesn't seem like he left her like she's being left with someone else. And I think like in this type of situation, you have to look out for your own mental health as well. And if it's not going to, if this relationship, this friendship is not serving you, then you walk away. If she feels like that, it may not be, I just want to be careful with what I'm saying. It may not be that she feels like that she wants, like she values the relationship with him more than the relationship with you, but it does seem like she's being manipulated to be in this relationship with him.
I was going to say though, I think like, I don't think you need to really, I think a way that you can also do this is not even necessarily like addressing your friendship with her. It's like, it's having like, I mean, a conversation I could see it going is you guys get coffee and you talk with her and you are just like really explicit and you're like, I like love you and you've been like one of my longest like childhood friends. And full transparency, I really don't like how your boyfriend has treated you and I really don't like it and it makes me really upset and it makes me really worried and I'm really torn because I don't want to be around him or the whole situation, but I care about you and I want to be there for you. And yeah, I'm not saying for you to choose or anything at all, but just know I need to take a step away. But if anything happens, you can always reach out to me. Like I'm always going to be here for you. And then she might just peace out. But like the whole thing, if you're friends with someone who's in a toxic relationship, the only thing that you can do is just try to be there enough or have them think of you fondly enough or leave the friendship on terms where they know if things go south, they can come back and they can do that. And I think at the same time, even if like that happens and you don't want her to come back and you guys just don't get along, that's also okay. But I think if you're feeling an obligation to maintain this friendship that's bad for your mental health because like for the sake of her mental health and for the sake of that, then I think that's when you pass it on to somebody else. That's when you talk to her parents or a sibling of hers or someone who's in her life and you're like, I can't do this anymore. This is like, I love her, but like point blank, she hasn't been a great friend to me. And on top of it, this relationship that I hate and I'm like really wary of, but in good conscience, like I need to let you know all of my worries about this so you can like be on the lookout and be aware of it. But I can't, my plate is full now.
Right.
Which I think is like the responsible thing to do in that kind of situation. But yeah, I think this is hard because I think you are inevitably growing apart, but you feel an obligation to hold on for like the memory of who she was. And then also how much of her is influenced by this person. Like, would you like her and would you guys maintain your friendship as adults if she wasn't with him? And like, that you can kind of want to hold on to that kind of stuff as like the what ifs and possibilities. But yeah, I would also maybe just to let her start the coffee talk with like what she wants to like figure out, like hear her and where she's at. And then from there, you can really gauge your response back to her. Cause maybe she really like wants to get out of this relationship. And this is like the second round of trying to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a multi-layered, tough kind of thing, but glad you're in therapy and let us know how coffee goes. Best of luck.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I am calling because I am a 20-year-old Virgo. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm calling because my partner of over 3 years, he goes by him, he pronouns, and he is 20 years old and he is a Scorpio. Like I said, we've been together for over 3 years and our communication is great. We have a very healthy relationship. But I am concerned because when we have sex, he doesn't really like talk dirty. He doesn't really talk at all, which I think some people are just like quiet. I don't know, but it feels like a little bit awkward towards like to me. And because I'm the type of person that if I don't like hear people talking, I get like worried. And so I expressed to him that I wanted this, and he was like, okay, like I'll work on it. Like, cause we're very good like with communication, but now I'm worried, like, how am I going to get around feeling like he's not enjoying talking or talking dirty and he's just doing it for me, which I understand, like him doing it for me is like the whole point and all of that, but I don't want him to like not enjoy it, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so any help would be great. I love you guys so much. You guys are like the best, and thank you.
I mean, I think it's great that he was like receptive to all of this, but I think when you have these conversations, which I'm not doubting that you're doing, you guys seem to have like great, healthy, open communication that if you're not comfortable doing something, that like that's okay and that's allowed. And maybe for you, it's just like following up with him and being like, hey, just as a follow up, I don't know if I expressed this or not, but like if you're not into that, like that's totally okay. Like I don't want this to be something that like you're sacrificing your comfortability just because like I'm into it. And then hopefully that will like ease your nerves with that, because I think a lot of the time with this stuff, like, yes, we should set up like clear boundaries, like when we're having those conversations, that like it's really okay to say like, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. But also that a lot of the time there's like, it's not so black and white. It's like, sure, you can be into it. Oh, I'm not into it. I'm down to try it, and I'm not going to be into it after I try it, or I'm going to be into it after I try it, or figuring that kind of stuff out. So I think as long as you have healthy communication.
Yeah, it's just as long as everyone's doing everything consensually, which comes to anything sexually. And that's kind of like, you know, that gal that we had to call in, that her husband thought that he would be into them, like her getting having sex with another man while he watched, and then when it came up to it, then he wasn't into it, and they talked about it. But then she thinks that she's into it. So it's just like, you just have to keep the communication going. You have to ask him, like, even if it's like maybe before you're even like every time before you're having sex, you can even mention it and just like see if he's into it. And if he just seems weary, and doesn't give you like an enthusiastic yes, or enthusiastically going like talking dirty to you, then you know that it's something that he's not into. And, you know, if it's not a hard out for you, then, you know, just maybe listen to some Dipsy.
Yeah, put AirPods in when you're having sex.
Yep.
I think also like when it comes to like talking dirty too, I think it's really a good call to, when you're asking someone to like talk to, which is, I having sex with people who just like don't say anything. I'm like, hello, are you I want to check your pulse. Like, are you still with us? Like, hello, big summer bra out. Hello. I think it's good to like kind of set parameters and give examples too, because like nothing worse than saying that you want to like talk dirty and like you think he's going to be like, oh yeah, like suck my dick. Like I love that. Like I love your tits. And he's like, come on, you fucking whore. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, there are limitations to it.
And also that like
which
maybe
might be that's what she wants, is like reel me in the ass. And he's like,
here's the thing. That's going to take you.
Put your penis in my butthole.
It's gonna take a while. Like you have to be on the same page, because maybe you want some, like, know what kind of dirty talk it is, because I think that also, if he's like, what the fuck am I gonna say? I have to come up with this whole like improv monologue. Like I think if you can give some like, you know, writing prompts, give some like starting jumping off points and like what you're into versus like what you're not into. And also I think, you know, watching porn together, and like if there's something with dirty, something like even listening to Dipsy together, like saying like this is something that I would be really into, I think can also be helpful for someone who's like exploring something that their partner's into, because you're not starting from scratch. Like you have something, you have a jumping off point. But I would also say that like dirty talk is definitely like comfortability thing that like it usually will take a little while. And if he's not cool just like calling you like a dirty slut immediately, you can work up to it.
Yeah.
Like It's like, I think it's taken every time I've had sex with a guy, without a doubt, will not the first time we have sex. And it's like being like, okay, come on. Okay, come. Whenever you're ready, just letting you know. And now there's a bunch of dudes like walking around now that I'm like, I did this to you. It's time for a break. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. We're back from our break and we're getting to the rest of the calls.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. Love the podcast. So I have a problem. I'm 18. I'm a Gemini. I'm a senior in high school, and my pronouns are she, her. And my boyfriend is also 18. He's also a senior in high school, and his pronouns are he, him. And he is a Sagittarius. I'm a Gemini. Basically, my boyfriend is a bad driver. Like, I don't want to call him a bad driver, but he's a bad driver. For example, yesterday he was coming to a tennis event with me because I manage the team, a team for younger kids, and right in front of everyone, he's trying to pull into this parking spot, and he hit someone's car so painfully badly that it was just was so embarrassing. He hit only their tires somehow, but it made such a loud noise. It was in front of everyone, and then he gets out and is disputing with the person that he hit their car, and then comes over to sit next to me, and that's my boyfriend. And it was so embarrassing. I don't even know how that happened. The parking spot wasn't tight or anything. But regardless of that, the next thing is that later that day, I get in the car with him, and we literally almost T-boned someone at an intersection. We're coming out of this parking lot onto this main road, and they're trying to go left. And then there's someone in that main road trying to turn left into the parking lot that we're trying to turn out of. And he just goes, not understanding that the person in the main road has the right of way, so we almost T-boned them, on top of the fact that there's other cars coming, and it was so bad. Literally, as it was happening, I was just screaming because I thought we were going to die. Genuinely, it was so scary. So my question is, how do I tell him that he's a bad, irresponsible driver without telling him that? I mean, I don't know what to say. He constantly wants to drive us around, and I have my own car, so that's not even a problem. It's just that he constantly wants to drive us around, so we're not taking two cars. And I can go 5 days being like, babe, let's take my car instead. But that only works for so long before he starts to be like, how about we take my car? And I just don't know how to tell him, why I don't want to drive with him. Because he is really insecure about his driving, and I just feel really bad. Genuinely, really, really bad. So any help would help. I don't know how to word it, how to tell him. Just help me. Thank you. Bye.
The first thing you need to do is you need to figure out where he took his driver's license test. You need to call them and you say, you made a fucking grave mistake. Revoke this man's license immediately.
Child, this actually reminds me of my brother-in-law. He's been in numerous wrecks. He's a terrible driver. He's wrecked just in the time that him and my sister have been married. I think he's totaled 4 cars. Oh my God. I've actually seen him get into 2 wrecks before. That these weren't even the cars that had been totaled. The fact that I have visually seen him get into car wrecks, and I wasn't in the car for either one of these things. It was one of them we were driving to church for one of the kids where they were getting christening for something, and I was with my parents, and I think I lived in LA at that point. So I was with my parents, and him and Megan were in a different car with their kids. We're just driving to church, and we're like, Marquez just got in a wreck. See him few cars in front of us. And then there was another time we were driving from Little Rock, and he was pulling out of and I was not in the car. We were just kind of caravanning, and he was pulling out of someplace and didn't look and just got T-bone right there. So he's a terrible driver. I honestly, I've told him that I will never, even when I go home, I take Ubers, plus I don't have a car while I'm there, and also I just don't want to drive. And he's like, I'll drive you, and you can pay me instead of Uber. And I said, absolutely the fuck not. He's a terrible driver. And how I told him is that I tell him that he's a fucking terrible driver.
Yeah, there's no way around this. And he's self-conscious about his driving because he's a terrible driver.
It probably took him so long to get his driver's license, and they just got tired of seeing him show up and putting their own lives at risk being in the car while he was taking the test.
It was me. It took me a long ass time to get mine. This is just like, and here's the thing. He needs to get better at driving. And yes, how do you get better at driving? Practicing. Do you know how you practice in
a parking lot?
Mm-hmm. Don't practice in places where like he has to like then park his car after he hits someone and then has to be like reveal himself as being your boyfriend. That's embarrassing.
It needs to be like the same way that I learned how to drive when I was 10.
He needs more driving lessons.
When I was 11, my mom used to take me to the school parking lots when they were completely
11?
empty. Yes.
I can't.
She'd take me to the school parking lots when they were completely empty, like after school was out or on the weekend, so there would be no one there. And I would just like drive around the parking lot and practice parking and things like that.
What kind of car did your mother have that 10-year-old could reach the pedals?
I'm the same height as I've been since I was 11.
Oh, okay.
I haven't grown at all.
Okay,
like I was
valid.
like average height and then just stopped growing. And she's shorter than me, so there's that. But I was driving. First, she tried to teach me on. She had the Z like stick shift car it was a sports car that me and her got in fights because she has no patience and I didn't understand what she was saying. I've never learned how to drive a stick shift because she has traumatized me for the rest of my life. So I first tried to learn on that, didn't work. And then they had a Blazer and I learned to drive on that.
What's a Blazer?
Chevy Blazer.
I don't know what that is.
The SUV that Chevy has.
My ex-boyfriend tried to teach me how to drive stick in like the brand new Audi his parents bought him. And I was like, I don't even know how to drive a regular car, but you're very hot.
Yes.
So you can drive. Yeah. You just have to like fucking straight up tell him he's a bad driver.
Mm-hmm. Because you're putting your life and he's putting his life and other people's lives in like serious risk every time he gets in the car. Like cars are a weapon.
Yeah, and like there no shade, but it's like, hey, I think like, you know, like I'm not comfortable driving with you. Like it really stresses me out, and like I'm also worried about you driving on the road. Like you should talk to your parents and see if you can get some more driving lessons or just practice driving more with like where it's like safer. But
go to school parking lots while they're empty and get some cones, and he just like practices driving in between and parking in parking spots. I can't believe he yelled. I just can't imagine just being like a teacher or having coach. Like a young tennis hopefuls. He crashes into someone and then gets out. It's loud, so everybody's already looking, but then he gets out and argues with them and then comes over and sits by you. How embarrassing.
I would be like, I'm sorry, I don't know you.
No.
Like, get this man. I'm sorry to this man.
Sorry to this
I don't know who this man is. Like, I would be mortified. Here's the thing. Mats is not a good driver. I am a much better driver than Mats. Granted, we have said in the last year he is a better driver than me because
only because you can see.
Yeah, I can't see. And he knows. And here's the thing. Mats is not 18. He's 30. And it has probably taken up until this year before him to like be self-proclaimed like, I'm not that great. You are a better driver than me. So there is like a lot of like, you know, straight cis male ego built into like driving cars, being the best, like I'm so good at this or whatever. But here's the thing, like you do not need to coddle that fragile male ego for this, like at all. This is like
you can die. Like
anyone can. Like
yes, you can die, he can die, the people in the other car can. You can be put in a coma and then think that you killed your ex-girlfriend and then
I also think we need to like go back to that call, and I really want to input some like witchcraft in there at some point. Like I want some magic in there. Like I feel like we need another layer to it, and it's either going to be like
into my soap opera.
Yeah, science and time travel or some magic. I want
mm-hmm.
So just food for thought. But yeah, you don't need to like. This is like the epitome of like you do not protect the fragile male ego. Like his fucking ego will get somebody killed.
Yeah.
And it's just stupid and absolutely reckless. And like, there's a lot of 18-year-olds who in general, no offense, aren't great drivers just because you don't have as much like experience driving, but that doesn't mean that you should gain experience by like constantly crashing. Also, does his parents know? Does his guardians, whoever he lives with, do they know that he keeps doing this?
Because like they're just a family of sucky drivers.
Yeah.
I think you just have to tell them and come from it from a loving place. It's just like, I don't know if you love him. I really care for you. And I just want to make sure that the next time I see you, that you're in one piece. And your driving's a little bit reckless. And I think that you need to practice or get some driving lessons because I fear for my life every time that I'm in the car with you.
I think you're going to kill me and I don't want to die. So please let me drive us.
But like also he needs to get driving lessons.
Without a doubt, 100%. Because this is also like, this becomes an adult who's bad at driving.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was not the bad driving and then the cockiness and ego to just keep driving like that. That's a recipe for disaster. I had a really tough time learning how to drive. I was really highly anxious, like really hated it. And when I got my license, I didn't like drive anywhere for a while. Like, and it was like, okay, then I built up the confidence, but like, I was not electing like, oh, I'll drive. Like I was aware that I wasn't good, but like not knowing and committing to it, that's insane.
Yeah.
Hi, Melissa and Megan. So I am calling because I have kind of a weird, I don't know. I'm 26. My pronouns are she, her, and my husband is 30. Oh, shucks. He just had his birthday. 34. And his pronouns are he, him. So I was calling because our marriage is great. Love it. Everything's wonderful, whatever. But we were recently having sex and then I was on top and he slapped my boob. And like, luckily the room was pitch black. So like he couldn't see me laugh, but he had never done that before. We've been together for a while now, 5 years. Wow, I really should know this more. But yeah, so he started slapping my boob and not like hard or anything, just like a little like slap. And then, like, I don't know how to tell him, like, that was the funniest thing I've ever fucking experienced in my entire life. Yeah, so is that, like, a thing? Do people slap boobs now? Am I just, like, you know, behind the times? I guess my advice, or my, like, question is, how do I tell him that was the funniest shit I've ever experienced without making him feel embarrassed? Because I think he enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it, but for different reasons. So thanks so much. You guys are great. And see you later. Or see you later. I don't know you. Talk to you later, maybe sometime. Okay, bye.
I'm glad you found it humorous because we were dying.
I would also love to be friends with you. See you later. Actually, I won't see you later. I don't even know you. Goodbye. I'll talk to you later. I don't, maybe. I'm dead.
Talk about slapstick comedy.
I'm dying. I did just text Matson and I said, have you ever slapped my boob during sex? I don't
know if it's a thing, but I feel like body parts are just getting slapped or tapped or little love thing during sex. I don't think it's not a thing.
Yeah. Like I right now could not definitively tell you if I've had my titty slapped, yes or no. Like 50-50 chance.
Yeah, that's the thing. 50-50 chance. Like, I don't think I'd mind it. I think I found it funny and I think I would find it hot.
Yeah.
But
when you talk about an isolated incident, when we're not in the middle of having sex, and I'm just imagining a titty slap, it's hilarious.
I mean, if you're not watching the video, this was gold of us just titty slapping ourselves.
Slapping our titties. That's so funny. I do wonder, though, if like immediately after he did that, he was like,
what did I just do?
Yeah, I think if it happens again, laugh in the moment.
I don't know if you laugh. I don't know. Yeah. It depends on if like he thinks it's like hot and serious, but you think it's like hot and funny. And it seems like you want him to do it again.
Yeah, because of the jokes. Like, I don't...
Oh yeah. Or talking about dirty talk, you gotta call it out. Oh yeah, slap my titty.
I would die. I would literally like pee myself
Slap
laughing.
Slap
slap that titty. Mm-hmm. You just take your boob and you smack it.
You just slap him across the face while you're on top.
With your titty.
You like that? You like that?
I really hope you've got big boobs too, so you get that like skin to skin, like that feels like, you know, when you slap skin that's like a belly flop in the pool where it's just like oh. I think Mox must have fallen asleep because he is not responding to my text.
He hasn't responded to your text all day.
I know.
Even when he was awake.
Like, how rude. How rude. He did respond to my first TikTok I sent him this morning, which was of a guy getting drunk and then eating shit on a golf, these like personal golf cart Segway things.
Yeah. How do you bring it?
You think you bring it up like now. You think like not in the moment.
I think that you should bring it. You should like tell him to slap your titty while you're fucking him.
With a straight face.
Yes. And then die laughing. And
that's
be like,
a lot of... So
yeah,
you're setting him up for a joke.
That's how you set up a punchline. That's what you call it.
I mean, God, imagine though, when there's a punchline and there's a dick inside of you, like that's...
Exactly. That's why I called it slap and stick comedy. Slapstick comedy. Did that go over your head?
No, the first part I got, the slap. The obvious joke I got. The second with a little more nuance. No, that went right over my head. Wow. I'm dying. I do. Part of me feels like he immediately like regretted it after he did it. And he was like,
what was it? Did it make him come? Did he slap your titty and then was like, oh, or did he slap it and then like grip your hips harder? Like, I just need more details.
Okay. Also, I don't know why that like I really like glazed over the fact that you were on top.
That's what you said.
I know, but like now I'm picturing it more. It's kind of like a baby in a mobile. It's like, beep, beep. Like that's also like one of the least flattering. But are you leaning over on top?
That's what I was gonna say. There's so many different variations of being on top. So like, was he all the way flat and then kind of just like bobbed up
like
and
a
did
cat?
It? Yeah. Or was it like, was he kind of sitting up some and did it? Were you leaned over? There's just were you leaned back? Because that's even more. Did he backhand it or you front hand it?
Yeah, was this like a tennis serve or was this like a cat playing with a toy? Because I will say, if I'm leaning over and like, you know, and your boobs are doing that like
that
pulling
thing,
sausage,
it would be, it would be like a cat.
If someone slapped my boob there, I would be like, don't even look at my boobs in this angle. Like, fuck you. But they look like they're melting.
Also, can you imagine if she was like riding like reverse cowgirl and then he like did it from like behind her and it came across?
I'd be like, did you just see that?
What
and he's like, what's that?
It was dark because she said it was dark. And he was like, what was that? And it was a ghost that I've been trying to fuck, and it hasn't happened yet.
It just went to the wrong room, started titty slapping left and right. I'm dying. Because I think that, like, I think this is something that, like, it's not a thing. Like, I can't with conviction tell you I have not been titty slapped. I'm pretty sure I have been. But I don't, for some reason, the way this is going down, it just feels like out of left field for your relationship and startling and shocking. I literally need you to draw a diagram.
But the thing is, like, the fact that there's both, she's like, I think he was into it. Just that fact that, like, she thinks it's so fucking funny.
I know.
Like, do you want him to do it again so you could have just like a giggle? Was it like playful sex? Also, like, what was the, like, how hard were you riding him? Because it could have been like playful.
But if you're in the dark, that to me is not funny sex.
But like, what was it, like very intense hard and then he just like, titty slap? Or was it more like a slow sensual and then just like a what's that one instrument that's like percussion that no, it's not the cymbals, but the like wind chimes where you're just like
you thought it was gonna be like, it was like an aggressive graze, like you thought he might have been going for a grab, but then it was just like, was it open fingers, closed fingers, and only one.
Call back, because I feel like we're gonna have fun with this update.
Please call back.
So call back. Let's have a nice little fun. Kiki, give us all the details, and let us know if you brought it back up. Call us back.
And next time Monster and I have sex, I'll make him slap my boob, and I'll tell you.
You gotta tell him, slap my titty. Oh, slap my titty.
Slap my titty. I am dying. Wow. Well, can't wait for you to call back. Can't wait for us to just talk about this, and looking forward to it.
Me too.
Well, now it's time for Don't Blame Them. This is where a listener will call in with their own advice pertaining to a call that we had on a previous episode. They give their own insight. Maybe they have some personal experience that we didn't have, or maybe they see it in a different light, or maybe, just maybe, they'll be like, Megan and Melissa were so right. They're so beautiful. Everything they do is completely right. And my dad happens to own like a multiple private jets and is a bajillionaire, and we're going to give you money. Waiting for that last one to happen.
That would be terrific. And this is definitely not it.
Oh God. Where are little fuckers with billionaire parents?
Yeah.
Who hate them? Like, who spiteful. We want some spiteful little fuckers who hate their rich parents.
Yeah.
If you ever want to spend, if you have access to your Republican family's credit cards and you ever want to spend some money.
Or just like send us some money and we want to make a movie.
Oh, we do. We want to make a lot of, we would. And
but like, if you just want to run us a quick 30 mil.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your consideration. Mm-hmm. So what's this one from?
This is from season 7, episode 24.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm calling for Don't Blame Them. You had an update on season 7, episode 24 of the girl who got a toy, and you mentioned, she mentioned that she didn't quite enjoy oral sex. It didn't really feel like much, and I wanted to call in with some solidarity for her. I also don't get that much pleasure out of oral sex. And through talking to my sex therapist and my partner and all of these people, I've discovered that I have a smaller clit, which can get overstimulated. So what we've worked out is that getting G-spot stimulators and really focusing on the G-spot stimulation, which kind of hits the back of the clit, but not the outwarded facing nerves in the exterior part. I can still stimulate those nerves, but when we just do exterior stimulation, it just kind of goes numb and then it stops feeling like anything else. So if you are a caller still trying to figure out what might help you in the bedroom, if you want to get a G-spot stimulator that can be used in the front and in the back, those nerves still work, but it might be something, and it might be why you're kind of not feeling too much from oral sex. You're just too overwhelmed, I guess, with the feelings. But hope that helps. And thank you guys so much. I love this podcast. And have a great day.
I think this is great. I also love the fact that you mentioned, I think you said sex therapist, which is fantastic. And great, because I love hearing people who go to that kind of stuff, because I think a lot of the time, like, specifically people with vaginas and all of that stuff, like our pleasure has been so neglected to be like talked about at all, that it can feel kind of like this is a me problem. Oh, this is like or not even necessarily me problem. Like, oh, this is just must be how it is kind of thing, that I think like taking ownership back and like prioritizing like your own pleasure is like a great thing to do. And yeah, figuring that kind of stuff out. Yeah. So hell yeah. And it kind of, when we were on that episode of the Clit Talk, and I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, we were all talking about different clit sizes and different stimulations that work better for others. And one of the gals was talking about how, even like she doesn't like penetration in her vagina. She can only get off if she gets penetrated in the ass. So, different strokes for different folks.
That's why they created that term. Specifically. that is it for our episode. We hope you all enjoyed. If you want to call in for an upcoming one, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Again, write it down. Practice. Keep it under 3 minutes. Let us know your pronouns. You got to be 18 or over and have your parents' permission. We are also available to be supported. I mean, emotionally, you can support us anywhere. But financially, you can support us on Patreon. If you love the show and maybe you want the video versions or you want to tune in for our live streams, we have 2 tiers. One's only $1 a month. One is $5. And hey, if you have some extra cash to spare,
like 30 million,
you can always enter in your own specific amount that you want to donate to keep the show. I was going to say keep the lights on. But I specifically have no lights on in this video, so please send money. My lights are off.
Mine are on.
Your in the wise words of Hillary Duff, if the light is off, then it isn't on. The lyrics.
Is that in that one song?
Yeah. Well, follow us on socials. You can buy my book, buy my presets, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. She's pumping out Swiftie content. And what would you like to promote?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. I would like, if you have any male friends, I would like my ratios to be higher, so have your male friends involved.
Why are you worried about your ratio?
I don't care. I
thought you wanted to.
I
thought you were like, I don't have any. Like, if you have any male friends, send me their photo so I can decide if I want to date them. Is that are you trying to use your Instagram to like pimp yourself out, or like you just would like to have more male followers?
But I'm also I have like 6% male followers.
That's probably me too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I feel like most of the people that follow me probably follow you too.
It's good crossover.
So thank you for those that do. If you have any,
do you specifically are you specifically looking for men to date who follow you? Like, would you like specifically men who are interested in women?
Yes. Okay. Specifically men interested in women that are above the age of 32 years old.
Okay, so if anybody has any
like your big brothers that you think would be a good fit for me,
just sneak onto their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing, though. You're going to have to start fucking posting more.
I've started this week. Did you see?
Sorry. You posted literally one. You posted once.
I posted my mom. I posted my mom last week, so that's all within
Mother's Day
1 week.
posts do not count at all. I'm sorry. A Mother's Day post is not a thirst trap. Like, no guy's commenting fire and then being like,
I'm
"You look
starting."
really." Okay,
especially because I'm about to start this booty workout too. It's gonna be thirst traps left and right. Okay,
I'm happy for you. Is your mom still blocked?
No, I'm fine with her.
Okay.
Did you see what the comment I made about for Mother's Day? Did you read the caption?
I don't think I read the caption.
Oh, you should read the caption.
I'll go read it. Oh, I'm excited. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of random men in your comments section. Okay, we will see you all next week. Goodbye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.